Welcome back, or just welcome. I'm Lizzie Frizzle, and this is the Recap Corner. Today, we're talking about Farmer Wants a Wife, or FWA, as I've started calling it, Season 1, Episode 2, called Down and Dirty on the Farm. Since the series premiere, I found a few articles about the show that taught me a lot about some of the farmers and about myself. Namely, that I had no concept of how big farms are. In the last episode, Farmer Ryan said that he has 50 acres of land, and I thought, whoa, that's a lot of acres. But according to one of the articles I read, the other three farmers all have hundreds. Alan and Hunter both have 200-acre farms, and Landon has 600 acres spread between a farm, a ranch, and his farmhouse. I can't even conceptualize how big a space that is. Like, how many pieces of spaghetti laid end to end would it take to get from one side to the other? I also learned that Hunter plays in a band called Hunter Grayson and the Hat Creek Band.
But you'll only kiss me when you're tipsy. You only kiss me when you're tipsy.
But most importantly, I read an interview with Alan, and in it, he said that the women in his dating pool had conniptions when it came to basic farming tasks. Once I read that, I couldn't wait to watch the next episode. But now that I have, I'm disappointed to report that not a single hissy fit, outburst, tantrum, or conniption was had until the last possible moment. And it had nothing to do with farming. It didn't even happen on Alan's farm. When the episode opens, all four farmers are partway through their first 24 hours with one of their potential wives. Come nightfall, they all plan romantic dinners. In Georgia, Hunter parks a pickup truck in a pasture for stargazing. He covers it in candles and string lights and puts wine in the bed. I think it looks pretty cute. But that might just be because the truck reminds me of Jason Segel's car in Shrinking. During the date, Hunter and Sydney's age difference becomes apparent when Hunter asks what makes Sydney her, and she talks about her extracurriculars from high school.
Give me some background of what made you who you are.
Okay, in high school, I was involved in 13 extracurricular activities.
13?
Then Sydney asks Hunter about his college experience, and he shares a really sad story about his best friend dying in a car wreck their senior year. The trauma dump makes me wonder if Sydney genuinely asked about high school and college, or if the producers guided her that way so Hunter would have a reason to share his really sad story. Regardless, because we're hearing about old times, we see old-timey photos of Hunter with his best friend in college. Turns out Hunter had the exact same facial hair that Farmer Alan has now. Over on Alan's farm in Tennessee, his awkward streak continues. Inside a shed, he sets up a candlelit dinner for himself and Cassidy Joe. Initially, it does go well. Alan asks Cassidy Joe what she wants in a partner, and her answer might as well be movie dialogue.
So, what are you looking for in a husband?
I don't go through this long list in my head, because I just think it's really easy, somebody that just loves me, and
Yeah, I totally agree.
I want somebody to help make the bed in the morning.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Really easy stuff, you know what I mean? He comes home on the weekend, we go to the movies.
But the conversation turns serious when Cassidy Joe asks Alan about his ex, that bitch who dared to paint his kitchen cabinets. Alan explains that they broke up 6 months ago and that the breakup was actually a divorce. He assumed the producers already told the women he's been married, probably because he doesn't watch dating shows and doesn't know how they work.
But the last serious relationship was the one who painted the cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what happened there?
You know, didn't I tell you I was married?
You were married?
Yeah, I was married to that woman.
It would make sense to tell the contestants he's divorced in case that's a deal breaker for anyone. But it makes good TV to not tell them in the hopes that at least one woman is caught off guard when she finds out. Thank goodness for Cassidy Joe, who's both caught off guard and willing to ask the hard-hitting questions not everyone is.
I don't really believe in divorce. Did you try?
It's unclear if Alan's divorce was finalized 6 months ago or if he decided to get divorced 6 months ago, which could mean he's still legally married if the producers are evil enough. But as long as he's not jaded, Cassidy Joe is willing to overlook what seemed like one of her core principles. But I mean, I get it. She's already on the farm. In Oklahoma, Landon cooks dinner and dessert for Ashley R. I can't decide if it looks like she genuinely enjoys the meal or if she's just being polite.
It's fine?
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Yeah, this is really good.
Over dinner, they talk about Ashley's daughter. Then later, Landon tells the camera that she's got him messed up. Ashley, not the daughter. During this part of the episode, Ashley also picks out her bed in Landon's house, answering a question I've had since the series premiere. Where are the women sleeping? Some of the farmhouses look kinda small for 6 people, but at least Ashley's bed is inside a designated bedroom. The women staying at Hunter's house have bunk beds pushed up against the wall of his living room. Finally, at Ryan's outdoor candlelit dinner, he cooks salmon for Haley, and also for his cat, Silver Dollar.
Hi, Silver Dollar.
I'm here because I want to find love, I want to find that connection, and start the other phase of my life.
Hi. She's like, can I have some salmon?
During this segment, we also meet another of Ryan's horses, Smoke. Haley wants to name all his cows, too. But if they don't already have names, it's probably for a reason. During dinner, Ryan asks Haley about an unforgettable moment in her life, which I thought was a pretty good question. But then her answer is appearing on Farmer Wants a Wife, which I thought was kind of a cop-out. Later, as they chat about tomorrow's schedule, Haley asks Ryan when he's going to stop rambling and kiss her, even though he wasn't really rambling as much as he was talking logistics. Still, even in the context of a dating show, it took a lot of confidence for her to say that, which I appreciate. It also led to the series' very first kiss, which I'm sure the producers appreciated.
Are you gonna keep rambling, or are you gonna give me a kiss?
I will keep rambling instead of letting you go.
Lips are warm.
Nice, good.
After, Ryan does the gentlemanly thing and quietly checks out Haley from behind as she walks upstairs to wherever she's sleeping. In the morning, the rest of the contestants arrive in their chosen farmer's state. Last episode, the first batch of women got to ride from the airport with their farmer, but now the rest of the women have to drive themselves. I really wanted one group to get lost out of GPS range so Jennifer Nettles could heavy-handedly narrate about the isolation of farm life. But everyone just arrives safely at the farms instead. As the contestants drive, we sit in the back middle seat of each car and listen in. In the Landon van, Zoe says Oklahoma looks abandoned. I honestly think if the other women told Landon Zoe said that, he'd eliminate her on the spot. It's clear that man will not tolerate any Sooner State slander. In Ryan's ride, Sarah V figures that if he can take care of the land and the things on it, then he can probably take care of a woman too. And I guess that makes sense. Does it? In the Hunter Mobile, Devon wonders if Sydney got down and dirty during her 24 solo hours with Hunter.
Oh my gosh, Sydney and Hunter have been together for 24 hours. Yeah. I wonder what they did. I wonder if she got down and dirty.
Does that mean farm work or sex stuff? And in Alan's auto, Sloane reminisces about her upbringing on a farm, though eventually she moved to Miami to escape it. She wonders if returning to farm life will make her feel at home or uncomfortable. In the end, it doesn't really matter because Alan eliminates her less than 24 hours after arriving. Each farmer prepares a task for their contestants to complete. Landon's group feeds his cows by rolling out a huge hay bale.
All right, let's go. Are they all over here? Watch out, cows!
I better jump in. The whole thing. Keep rolling.
We're not gonna roll.
We learn that Kylie has cattle drive experience, which I think is way cool, but we don't get to see it. Landon does notice that she has a calming effect on the cows, though. And she's even able to pet Blanca, his favorite cow, who he says is notoriously picky about who pets her, even though later we see Nicole petting the same cow. In Georgia, Hunter's group guides his cows from one pasture to another. This sounds like the task for Kylie. While the women work, some of them ride horses, just casually. As someone who's never been on a horse, it was very impressive. Over in Tennessee, the task is a bit more mundane, though just as important. Alan asks his group to help him break up a large tree limb that fell in one of his pastures. On the way there, he asks Kelsey to join him for a one-on-one tractor ride. Nothing of note comes out of their conversation, but I loved that they had it. Inviting Kelsey for a tractor ride is a clever way to carve out a solo moment. And hopefully it riles up all the other contestants with jealousy. When they arrive at the tree limb, Alan starts breaking it up into smaller pieces with a chainsaw, while the women break up those pieces into even smaller ones and store them in a pile. Rebecca's work ethic and her understanding of the work impresses Alan, but it makes sense that she knows what she's doing because apparently she owns a ranch with 30 horses on it.
You're no stranger to this kind of work, are you?
Not when you had 30 horses on your ranch.
I appreciate it. Good help.
Oh, she's got it.
Why wasn't she one of the 4 farmers? Sloane sticks out too, but for the opposite reason. Despite being excited about the work, apparently she always says she wants to be with a man who can chop down a tree. But if that's true, then why'd she move to Miami? And not to be pedantic, but also to be pedantic, Alan didn't chop down this tree. Nature did. Throughout the scene, Sloane is definitively established as the odd potential wife out. And judging by her attempt at breaking up the tree limb, she might be kind of a hazard to the farming equipment too.
This ain't gonna work. Who put this here? Sloane.
This is so fun. Oh, I'm glad my pants are already ripped.
In North Carolina, Ryan's group repairs a section of fence that one of his horses tore up.
We're getting ready to fix this round pen that one of my horses tore up. It's important for me to see how the girls work in this environment. For one of them, this could be the rest of their life.
The standout here is Sarah I, who Ryan's taken to calling Sarah H because she has an H at the end of her first name and the other Sarah in his group doesn't. What makes Sarah I with an H stand out to Ryan is that she has fun while reassembling the fence. And I get it. The pieces all fit together in a specific way, and it reminds me of the puzzles in this video game I really like that's set on a ranch. Come to think of it, that game might be part of the reason why I was so excited about this show. Later, each farmer finds a note from Jennifer Nettles explaining that if they want, they can eliminate someone that night. This is when I realized just how great a gig this particular hosting job is. She delivers an introduction at the top of the episode, but those were probably all filmed on the same day at the same location. After that, she only exists via narration, and now notes. Obviously, because she can't constantly travel between 4 different farms in 4 different states. It's the cushiest job since Kristen Bell was the voice of Gossip Girl. When Ryan finds Jennifer's note before he reads it, he asks his contestants which one of them wrote it. I was so hoping one of the women would take credit, thinking it was some big romantic gesture, then be embarrassed when it turned out to be instructions. But they're all too smart and honest. The farmers prepare for potential eliminations in their own ways. Alan takes a solitary horseback ride to mull over the big decision, while Ryan steals Sarah I with an H for a secret kiss by a conveniently well-lit fence.
How did I put that down?
Oh, didn't see all the cameras.
That brings the total to 2 kisses on Ryan's farm and 0 on everyone else's. Thank goodness for Ryan. He and Cassidy Joe, and sometimes Alan, are carrying this show. In Oklahoma, Nicole pulls Landon for their own one-on-one moment, but this one's not as romantic. Throughout the episode, we see Nicole spiral about being Landon's 5th and final pick to move on to the farm, and about the fact that he hasn't explicitly told her he likes her yet. Nicole is seeking some sort of validation, or else it seems like she might quit before Landon has the chance to eliminate her, which would be too bad because she'd give up the chance to collect unemployment from him. Luckily, Landon validates her.
Do not put any weight on the fact that I picked you 5th.
Okay.
At all. I would love to be cliche, be like, save the best for last, but...
Totally, reassurance, like, I need something.
Yeah, God, I'm glad that's your only concern. I thought you were going to leave. I was like, well, great, Landon.
Usually on a dating show, being too insecure about your connection with the lead is a good way to get eliminated. But who knows? Nicole and Landon could have a Lauren B. and Ari-style love story yet. Each elimination takes place during a group dinner. The women on Ryan's farm prepare a salad. Now, you might think, given their current location on a farm, that there'd be fresh crops to use. But instead, they have store-bought spring mix. Another thing about Ryan's contestants, did he purposefully seek out all the women who own leather jackets? Of the people he eliminated last episode, how many of them didn't have one? In Tennessee, before he even eliminates anyone, Alan is already dropping bombs on his contestants. He explains that whoever ends up with him will need to feel comfortable spending time on the farm alone because he goes west a couple times a week.
Pretty much a couple times a week I go west, and you would be here by yourself, and there would be some things to take care of.
Earlier in the episode, we saw Alan working on what looked like a semi-truck. Is that what he's driving west a couple times a week? Where's west? I get, like, west of Tennessee, but where? And what's he doing there? Selling stuff? Buying stuff? The women have about as much information as I do, so basically none. But Cassidy Joe figures that if Alan's home just 6 months out of the year, then he'll be a better catch than most of the other guys she's dated. The rest of the women agree that they'd feel safe staying alone on Alan's farm because of his dog. But I don't know. One time in the middle of the night, a mirror fell off my wall. It made a really loud noise. I woke up with a huge burst of adrenaline, thinking my apartment was being robbed. My dog slept through the whole thing. The other dinners are less eventful. In fact, they might be downright boring. Landon, Hunter, and Ryan all decide to eliminate no one because a single day isn't enough time to establish a connection.
So I decided not to send anyone home today because I don't have any reason. One more week at least. I would have just been throwing darts at a board like that one.
Fortunately, there's still plenty of drama to be had at Alan's dinner. With elimination looming, Sloane starts to worry that Alan doesn't get her. Like Landon validated Nicole earlier in the episode, Alan does the same for Sloane now. It's just too bad that the thing he's validating is her fear of being misunderstood. Sloane is eliminated, but she leaves with the realization that she doesn't need to go to extremes, like appear on a cowboy-themed dating show, to find love. Still, it's gotta sting to watch this episode back and realize that none of the other farmers eliminated anyone. After Hunter's group dinner, Megan cries to him about the process of filming reality television. I get that you can never really know how you're going to react in a situation until you're in it, but the things Megan is overwhelmed by are kind of the backbone of the genre.
I just feel like it's all like kind of staged in a way. Like everybody has like some story like they have to tell about their life. I don't think I could do the reality TV part of it.
Megan tells Hunter she's gotta go home as the credits start to roll. But we already know that she won't because the editors are so lazy, they put her in the trailer for the next episode. In it, the groups leave the farms for the season's first big get-together. The entire cast appears to be reuniting at a rodeo. I'm surprised that they're leaving the farms after just arriving, but I'm also very excited to see all the contestants and all the farmers interacting again. At the rodeo, Zoe is annoyed by Landon's lack of attention, but she warned him she was like that.
So I'll tell you how it is. Don't get on my bad side either.
Oh, I believe that. Saw you walking up and I was like, this one's
I'm
trouble.
feisty.
Also, someone interrupts Kelsey and Alan's one-on-one conversation to steal him away. Do you ever think, like, what would dating shows be like if that first person to steal someone on The Bachelor had never done it? Thanks for watching. Come back next Tuesday for another Farmer Wants a Wife recap. And in the meantime, if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye.